Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to sharpen your ScanNCut blade. Once you've taken the blade holder out of the housing, untwist this top bit here to expose the blade. Inside this bit here, most likely you will find there's debris, bits of paper fibres. We definitely need to make sure that's clean, so I usually just blow through it and make sure everything's clear, but you can wipe it, use a cotton bud, in whichever way, just make sure it's clean and then it's ready to put back onto the blade. Right, we want to take the blade out of the holder here. It's magnetic, so if you just pull it with your fingers like so, you'll be able to take it out. I've actually got finger cuts on so that I don't cut myself or stab myself. Obviously it'll still be a bit sharp, not as sharp as we want it to be though, and then we can get sharpening it. So what we want to do is just get some foil and bunch it up into a ball like this, simply, and take the blade, oops, like that, and just poke it in. Make sure that all of that blade area is going in and out of the foil, and just go round and push it in like that, and that will sharpen the blade. I usually tend to do about 40 to 50 times. That tends to work for me, depending on how sharp your blade is or not. It depends on how many times you will want to be doing that. But yeah, once you've done that, the blade will be sharp, ready to put back into the holder. So I've sharpened the blade now, just going to put it back into the holder. Again, it's magnetic, so it will just stay, as you can see. Twist the top back on, oops, like so, and put it back into the housing, ready to cut. Now that the blade is sharp and the mat is sticky, which hopefully you will have seen in the previous video to this one, I do apologise for the shadow going on here. I'm going to show you how to cut some different mediums. I'm going to show you how to cut Sizzix shrink plastic, Crafter's Companion heavyweight acetate, some laminate which is 250 microns, and mylar which is 190 microns. Right, I'm going to show you how to cut shrink plastic first. Just going to go into patterns, go into the alphabets. Which one shall we choose? And go one down. Choose this alphabet here. Just going to choose the letter A. Say OK. Set it onto the mat. I'm going to edit it. Object edit. Increase the size. I'm going to take it up to 6 inches. Because obviously shrink plastic, when we heat it and shrink it down, it will go smaller. Let's just take that up. Oh, come on. And say OK. So let's put it this side. Right. And say OK. I'm going to set the machine to cut the letter A on the shrink plastic. I've set my mat up ready to cut with the shrink plastic on. On the Sizzix shrink plastic, there's a very sort of a plasticky looking side and a matte side. So I've got the plastic side facing upward. Don't know how clearly you'll be able to see it here on the camera. And I'm going to put it through and let's see what happens, and fingers crossed it should cut fine without it moving now that the mat is properly sticky and the blade is sharp. Right, the shrink plastic is cut exactly how you want it. Be very careful taking it off the mat, especially when you retack it at first, because it's very sticky and you can easily break the shrink plastic because of the nature of how fragile it is. It will easily just bend or crack. So just tease it off by rolling the mat from below it, or with the spatula thing that you get with the ScanNCut, just ease around all of the object that you're cutting and then just slowly lift it off. I've shrunk it down just to show you what it looks like once it's done, so you can see the size difference with the Sizzix shrink plastic. Next, I'm going to cut the Crafter's Companion Heavyweight Acetate. I'm just going to cut a straightforward shape, so I'm just going into basic shapes. Let's just page down to see what we've got. Should we do something in the way of a tag shape of some description? Let's see what we've got here. Okay, let's do an arrow. Cut an arrow, set it to the mat. We can edit it. Let's just see what size that is. It's 3, so let's do it to about 4 inches. Say okay. I'll set it to the mat on this side this time. Say okay. Say okay. And I'll get it ready to cut. Right, now I'm going to cut the Crafter's Companion Heavyweight Acetate. It's in the top left corner. It's difficult to see because it's clear. I'm just going to cut the simple shape of an arrow. Let's see how it goes. So just go into cut. And start. Right, the Crafter's Companion Heavyweight Acetate comes with a film on it, but as you can see, it's cut through absolutely perfectly. As you can see, the arrow and the film that I've taken off, that's above it. I'm going to cut a laminating sheet that I've already put through the laminator. It's 250 micron. So I've got the mat ready with the laminate on. Just going to cut some lozenge shapes. The lozenge shapes have cut through nicely on the laminate. You could use this to make stencils with, but personally I think the 190 micron mylar is better to use, as I will show you shortly. Finally, I've set the machine up to cut the 190 micron mylar. I'm going to cut a stencil that I designed on the computer. The mylar has cut very nicely as a stencil or a mask, whichever way you're intending to use it. You may have noticed I cut the different materials, not the mediums, on all quarters of the mat just to demonstrate how sticky it is after cleaning and retacking it. I will list the full materials that I cut in the description below the video. As with my mat, I have been using the same blade for 4 years with no intentions of buying a new one. Hopefully this has given you a few tips of how to extend the life of your blade and your mat, as I've demonstrated in the previous video, and get more out of it. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.